is to have a story behind your collection or your piece? I mean, is it, because I've just come up with things that, oh, I like the shape of that, I'll make that. I mean, everyone seems to have this fantastic story, and like you're saying about the skulls and that.
Well, I think the funny thing is that the whole world has just become more kind of three-dimensional, and you know, nobody buys a pair of shoes or buys a shirt without it has a name or without it has a sort of history to it. We've just become spoilt for choice because there's so much going on. The expectation of everything is much deeper. So you look at a 1950s film, and then look at a big production thing made last year. More happens in the credits in a modern film than happens in a whole of a 50s film, and it's very tough nowadays to get people who are used to this continual stimuli to kind of sit still, to just consider things for what they are. So if you say, you know, it's a bowl of food, it's really nice. Yeah, but what is it, and you know, who made it, and is it something you saw on the television? Suddenly it has to have this whole kind of depth to it that it didn't used to have. You know, if you want to go on holiday now, instead of going to Thorpeness or Margate, whatever it is, you can go anywhere in the world, and suddenly it's just a terrifying thing. I find the choice the most appalling thing about modern life. There's too much choice. And what has happened is everyone has this expectation of the whole story. So you put a bit of jewellery down the table and say, beautifully made, and they pick it up and say, well, it's fantastic, it's a rose, fantastic, well made, in gold, but then what is it, where did you get the inspiration, why is it lower? And the expectation is huge, and you know, we're bombarded with advertising, vast amounts of advertising by the big companies, and that's what they're selling. They're not selling a piece of jewellery, they're selling a story. So, you know, suddenly something is called, you know, the patchouli range or whatever it is, and the story comes out with it, and there's a picture of, you know, somebody swanning off in a boat somewhere in the patchouli range, and all you have to do is put this on, you're going to get laid almost immediately. I've tried it, it doesn't work. Anyway, and so the, you know, the expectation is like that. It's not, you know, and you know, it's just.
So have you ever come up with a piece first and then think, oh, what story could we come up with this?
Well, I think that's a better way of doing it than coming up with a story than the piece.
Right.
But I have a nasty feeling that an awful lot of it nowadays is they go, oh, we need something here that would be yachting jewellery, you know, and then further down the line, the person at the bottom of the food chain really is the designer, because he's got 25 committees to go through before, you know, sales committees and marketing committees and whatever, before a whole bunch of guys in suits in Geneva or whatever say, that's what we're going with. And to be frank, if you can do that in 3 different sizes, call it the Patchouli collection and put 10 million behind it, you know, you're doing well. I see, every year I see probably 50, at least 50 portfolio books that start with a sort of leaf or something, and then the leaf, you know, gradually becomes a whole, the shape of a leaf, you know, the outline of a leaf, and then gradually it becomes a sort of chain. And then chain takes on new things, and every year I see it and I think, Jesus Christ, when are they going to stop doing this? But then a man called Frank Gehry does it, and they put 10 million behind it in advertising, and suddenly it's the new collection in New York. Yeah. So, you know, it does work, apparently. We don't sadly have any money to advertise, so we have to think up really, really outlandish stories.
Yeah.
But it's easy to do. Just you know, show me the piece and I'll give you a story. It's
well, you can
call it the Colin range or the. Anyway,